This way 1 second.
Send me that one.
I'm not sure what I can say. I certainly don't have time to really give you the full history of Bernard Hopkins, and I'm not sure what I can say that hasn't been said many times before. Hopkins, as we all know, won his middleweight world title in '95 and then successfully defended it 20 straight times. He's had wins over De La Hoya, Trinidad, Tarver, Winky Wright, Kelly Pavlik, Roy Jones. In the last few years, he's become the oldest man to win a major world championship in the ring twice. In 2013, he had one of his best years, defeating Tavoris Cloud in March to win the IBF Light Heavyweight World Championship, and then successfully defending it in October with that exciting win over Murat. I said this yesterday, I believe that if there was a football, baseball, basketball player that was performing half at the level that Bernard is at 49 years old, they would be considered a freak of nature and be studied by scientists. The achievement the achievements that he's had throughout his career are amazing. But the fact is that he doesn't fight well for a 49-year-old. He's the champion. He's at the top of his game at this age. It's unheard of in any sport. On April 19th, he returns to Washington, D.C. in an attempt to unify the 175-pound title and make history once again. Please welcome the current IBF Light Heavyweight World Champion and future first ballot Hall of Famer, Bernard the Alien Hopkins.
First of all, thanks everybody for having a good turnout here in New York City. Also, I'd like to thank, first of all, I'd like to say something about Quillen, Kid Chopper, as known. You go from a prospect to a contender, now champion, now you build your legacy. Those 4 or 5 steps. And the last one is building your legacy. Prospect, contender, title, now you build the foundation, becomes now the legacy. And that's where history is being recorded. And so that's something that you look forward to and understanding that because you get the belts, that's fine. But now he has a belt, he has a belt. Now you have to build that legacy. But you go through those channels, those steps, and then you became the champion. Now you build off that because more got belts. They're all over the place. And now you just build your legacy. That's what I want to say to everybody, understand how I had to come up in the ranks. How I was on undercards of Mike Tyson in 1988, and Rick Bowe here in DC rather, when he fought Jesse Ferguson and I fought Roy Jones Jr. Those growth and those lessons mature me to be ready for the big fight. The signature fight will be the foundation you build off, that signature name, whoever that name is. So I just want to say that to let everybody know that ties in with my history and why I'm here today. I'd like to also thank Stephen Espinosa, Showtime, for investing, which is important because I know a lot of people are going to ask me and Babu about the light heavyweight championship fight. Because Stephen Espinosa, not only as a friend, but he also is a businessman. And he keeps those 2 things like it's supposed to be separate, because it's about boxing, it's about the network, it's about the fans, it's about feeding them not junk or quality fights. That's how you get ratings. And they invested, when I say they, Showtime invested in the light heavyweight division. And that wasn't the case less than a year ago. And now it's the case because pieces been moved and fights been won and some had lost. And now we're here, what I call the beginning of a unification. So again, I'd like to thank you, Stephen, for investing in the light heavyweight division by having this first unification. And also I'd like to thank even though he's not here, but representation here, and he'll read it somewhere, is Al Heyman. because Al Heyman happened to be involved with Shumenov, and it's my friend, and I respect him as a businessman, and also, as you know, Adonis Stevenson, which has been news reported by just about how young. So, what do that mean? You know what it means. It means that after April 19th, there's a more strong possibility, without any interference of a Cold War, hot war, Cold War, medium war, sunshine war, daylight war, whatever title you want to say, is now watered down with the possibility, realistic possibility, of the winners of this, you can say, unification, here or going forward, will have to eventually meet to have all the titles. And so that's important to me, like it was important to me, if my math is correct, I might be off a year, excuse me, it's 2001, 14, 15 years ago. That was important to me then, and it's more important to me why now. And obviously you would say why, well, do the math. Look at your age and look at mine. You want to risk this being done again? That you be even living to witness it? Okay, that's like waiting for another black president. Wish you luck. I ain't risking that. I'm so blessed to be able to be in position with a young, strong, credible, believing he can win, signed up for a fight that others ain't kicking the door down to fight, a 49-year-old man. Let's be honest, y'all. Nobody kicking the doors down to fight Bernard Hopkins. But he stepped up, and you have to say to himself, or at least I have to say, being through this many times in my life with fighting guys that's obviously younger than me, going back to even the Tito Trinidad, he was calling me old at 35. Do the math, 2001, I'm 49, subtract that, 35 years old, he was calling me old then. So, to have the opportunity to prove that I'm not necessarily to be the most talented fighter to ever pick gloves on, and I'm not saying I am, because I know I'm not, but I can say I am the most hard worker, I am the most dedicated, disciplined, and never duck no one. Never duck no one. I remember I went up 2 weight classes to beat Antonio Tarver, who changed Roy Jones' legacy with 1 punch. And you can't get these fighters who's say they great, y'all say they pound for pound, y'all say they this or that. Maybe they are. I'm not debating they are or not. But weight come an issue, and some of y'all let him hide behind it because he's short, he's skinny, he's tall. Look at Henry Armstrong. Y'all don't know your history, do y'all? Y'all talking to a man that haven't forgot from the great late Bowie Fischer. That when I hear some of y'all who know boxing, no, y'all talk boxing. I live boxing. And one thing that's important to live in boxing is a lifestyle. So it's nothing I'm doing fancy that y'all haven't wrote about, because most of y'all have been writing about me over 10 years or better. Now that the number becomes a 5-0, which is a milestone in anyone's life, whether you write or take punches for a living, it's starting to now settle in on something that was in front of your face a long time ago. And now all of a sudden, as you was woke, you was still asleep. My God, he's almost 50. Y'all ain't making a big deal about it. Well, please do. Because I could have came out here with a walker, took my teeth out, sat there, had him help me up to the seat there, and played right into the old man syndrome. But I ain't gonna play games with y'all. I want y'all to be inspired by whether you root for me or not. That's not important. I've been through that game too much. It doesn't neither help or hurt me. When you see me April 19th on Showtime, if you're home, or in DC in the Capitol, which I wish you would show to see that, because This is something that you're going to remember, tell your grandkids. Someone's younger, someone's in the boxing game, not in the boxing game, that this is not only my personal achievement of history, but this is something that you can pass down to your kids. You can pass down to anyone that you care to pass it down to, that this is something that you happen to witness at this time. Like I can tell my son, who's 2 years old, Bernard III, that the legacy he inherited from me, that I remember it was a black president. I mean, these are the things you don't forget. I remember that I was here in 9/11 when everything took place here. It was one of my biggest nights where I really couldn't celebrate with the country or with the city because it wasn't time for celebration. So I'm caught between a bittersweet attitude. I can explain that to him when he say, Daddy, my friend in my class, you know, when you get older and they get to talk about your pop. This is something I won't be able to tell him, along with a lot of other list of other things, is that I never let people dictate to me that I come up in the ghetto, so I must think ghetto. I come up in the urban city, so I must think that this is where my destiny and where I live and then I die. That I shouldn't want better. I shouldn't want to do better because it's the norm. Well, I'm not that. And I want to prove until I leave this game. And I will leave on my terms, but I won't leave in embarrassment term. I promise you that. April 19th, Shumenov is going to realize that this is something that he needed to go forward in his career because he's still young. He don't have 30 fights. He only have 25 fights. It's a fast, you know, you get those guys like himself. Y'all look at that, oh, but this guy will fight Bernard. Bernard got more knockouts than he got wins. Don't get twisted, y'all. LeBron James was on a fast track. Got 2 rings, right? I didn't think that. I don't even think Michael Jordan moved that fast when he came out. So when you have that type of guy in front of you who wants to now make his name, and I know I'm being a little long, but who cares? They're the most dangerous guys to fight. And let's talk about, before I wrap it up, let's talk about Father Time. Oh, he's a son of a bitch. He is. Father Time is undefeated because Tom is undefeated. So it's Tom and Father Time, or Father Time and Tom is all together. That's a fight that I can't win and nobody on this earth can win. So I'm not fighting Father Time. That's why me and Father Time having really no problem. There's no war going on. Father Time understands that, you know what, Bernard? You don't drink, you haven't drank, you haven't drunk anything in almost 3 decades. You took care of your body, you took care of yourself. You got one of the best superior defense, along with, again, you could say Floyd Mayweather and myself. We haven't been tapped on, hit on, beat on. We talk well, we speak well, we take care of our lives. So at the end of the day, Father Time says to me, we talk every now and then. Have fun. You got time. Well, everybody's asking me about my age because their stomach is out this big. Because they eating bagels. They ain't drinking wine. Enjoy yourself. That's what you want to do. But when you see me, don't be envied. Be motivated. Be energized. Woman or man. And say to yourself, how can I start to be like him? How can I take a page out of his book and have a long life and play with my grandkids for something? And so for me, I say to you, when you see me April 19th in DC on Showtime, be inspired. Be inspired that if you're near 40, if you're over 40, over 50, over 60, be like, man, it's never too late to change your lifestyle. Only when you're dead. Thank you.